Utz here. I'm going to be presenting how you can help manage and add to the audit database that we've started on the Citizens Oversight website. Now, the Citizens Oversight website really has two parts. Citizensoversight.org is the landing page, if you will, and then CopsWiki, COPSWIKI.org it's basically what's called the free open source wiki. It's a very powerful collaboration platform. Now I'm going to be looking down sometimes because that's where my screen is. I'm not trying to avoid the camera, but I thought it was helpful for you to see me speaking as I showed you this material. The COPS Wiki, if you see here, is the top of the Citizens Oversight projects page. It starts in a place called the Common Web. The organization of the website is that there's a top, which is, and then there's a number of webs that really have to be in at least one of these webs. And there are separate namespace, but it turns out that it's best normally just to use one web, which we call the Common Web. Most of the stuff is in there. We also have started a thing called the Elections Web. And at that web is where we're going to be archiving the data from various districts around the country. This is we've already requested and gotten most of our data from the California counties. We asked all the counties to provide the last 4 years because the Secretary of State has stopped archiving it. Now, so you can see this, I'm going to use a little bit bigger font. That should come out a little bit better. Now, we're going to be dealing with a number of procedures, but right now we're going to be talking about basically adding things to the audit database. The organization of this is that basically each item is going to be a separate, each data item, if you will, like a database. Usually you can conceive of a database as a big table or linked tables, and in those tables there's a record or maybe a one line that you might visualize in one line, and a lot of times they're organized that way as a flat file. In this, each record, if you will, is a separate file. It does have structured fields that are included just like a regular data record would be in a regular database, but also it can have more free flow information, comments, files attached, videos attached, spreadsheets, active spreadsheets. All kinds of stuff can be in any one of these topics, and they still can be organized that way. So what we did was we started the process by defining here, as you see, all election districts. This topic has been pre-initialized with election districts based on their information that we got from California. We can do the same thing to shortcut it for you. I'm not going to try to teach you how to do that, but basically if we get the name and the state, as you see here, like CA, and then we're going to put the state first, and then put an underscore in Alameda. That is the county or the election district, and in this case, then we would have information about the election district. As you see, we'll click into that one, and what it has here is a set of fields: the name, the contact, which is the registrar of voters. It can be either a complete name or last and first, the position and the address and so forth. Now, this is a standard contact form, if you will. It's a set of data fields that are connected to the data record. This is how it's always done. You can go see what the form looks like by clicking on that, and it shows you what each field is, what kind of data type it is, and the size on that's on the page, although it's really not limited to that. And a tooltip message. You can also put things that you can pick from in here. We don't use all these fields, but it's basically for context we wanted to organize. And we're reusing it in this case. We will, if there are articles, news articles that are submitted through our news media list, then they would be listed here automatically and updated dynamically. Then the other part of this is in the elections web are the audits. So in each election district, you're going to have a number of audits that are created. Each audit will be linked to the election district by its name. We can either look at all audits. We haven't created too many in this video. We have a couple of audits here for San Diego. I'm going to give you another example of one that we have. We'll make for San Diego and then initialize it with some of the data that we have. Now, an audit itself, if you take a look at one of these, this part at the top is automatically generated from the fields at the bottom. This information here in the middle is pretty much free form, including what we thought was important at that time when we did the audit. And then this part at the bottom is common to all of the pages to kind of give you a navigational method to navigate. And then down here is the audit fields that we started with, we thought would be important. We're trying to pin down what these are, but from our experience, we thought these fields may be useful, and we can modify these as required. But if you take a look at the form itself, this will tell us what we have here. The election districts are basically initialized from the counties that, all of the election districts is dynamically included here. So if we added election district, it will automatically extend this. The date of the election for the audit and so forth. Each one of these fields is the number of ballots audited is something we thought would be useful to compare audits one to the other. Now, that's the form itself, which is to define what fields are down here. If we want to define a new field, then we go over to that form and we add a new line to the table. And that's how it adds a new data field. The notes, as you see, notes are just a general purpose catch-all. These things, though, like the election district and election date, are pulled up to the top, you see. The election district is automatically populated here, or election date, and there's nothing in total ballots, so these are empty. But this is a dynamically included top of the page that's predefined. So our job now is we're going to go back to the elections web. So the audits are only linked to the district here by this field. So when we put this field in an audit, it is automatically going to appear. I just clicked on that, and I come back to the election district, San Diego, and it's showing the audits. So now we want to add an audit. I'm going to go over to my, Windows Explorer here, to File Explorer. Okay, so I first need to get down to the point where we have these things. Citizens Oversight has a whole bunch of projects. This one is called Election Integrity, the general project. And I'm trying to get to the audit database here. I believe we have that down underneath snapshot oversight because it's basically linked to that sub-project. And here's the audit database where we have a number of states so far initialized, although only partially. And each one of these directories has potentially information in it from different audits. We've requested a whole bunch of them. These topics here, the .text files, are simply a template for the topics that we just looked at. You can just ignore those. So I'm going to go to San Diego into this folder, and we have the 2012, 2014. What do we have so far here? We have the 2014 and 2016, but no 2012. So what we're going to do is create a audit for the 2012, and that is the November election. And we have some data here that we did receive, although I don't see the audit, the actual 1% manual tally result, which is one of the main things we wanted to archive here. But we did do a bunch of work on this election to see if response, no. So what we'll do is we just, I don't see the 1% manual tally result here, but we're going to put these other items on the audit record so we have it. So we're going to be working on a 2012-11. We're going to say add, and we're going to put, no, we don't want a new district, we want a new audit. Audits, that's supposed to go to the new district, but new audit. So this add is incorrect. It's going to new elections district. I'm going to, just so you can see, I'm going to change that. I'm going to go into the edit and wiki text on this page. You're going to have to log in. And that's part of the district audit header and district audits. It's part of the header, actually. See, that's automatically put in. These are called macros when they have the percents around them. A little bit of stuff you don't actually need at this time, but just to get your feet wet. Tell you what, I'm going to go, let's see if it goes this way. See, new audit topic. I'm going to have to fix that later to get to the audits of this district. Down here, all audits, and add one. That's where we actually want to go. So here's audit. We're going to go back to 2012. And we're going to do the November election. California, San Diego. And don't put any spaces in this, just to be consistent. We add a topic, it creates a new topic. Now you can use this in either wiki mode or this is a WYSIWYG mode. Like, what you see is what you get, and you use these controls here in the normal way to either bold, italicize, if you want to add something inside. At this time, we just need to do the basic selection here. Make sure that we choose the district. That, unfortunately, is not automatic. The election date, it's in the format year, month, day, 2012-11 dash, not sure when the actual date was. It's going to be kind of hard to select it through that. We can just, actually, you don't have to go much past that. You can just put the month there if you want. This is if we know the information about when there was a random selection where they selected the precincts. Maybe they did it a couple of times. These are things that don't necessarily have to be populated, but if there's a remote linked information, you put the HTTP in there. What kind of data was collected? We can populate this later, and were they snapshot protocol compliant? No. So at this point, we just save it with the basics. It's going to put the date and the district, and they say you don't have to have the day. It'll still work fine. Now we go through attaching. You click attach here, and you choose the file on your system that you would like to upload to that page. Now, unfortunately, it goes to something else here that I learned was at a different time. So we want to go down to where it should be, snapshot oversight, and the audit database, San Diego. And we're choosing 2012 these items. The zip file, this is the only 8 megabytes. That's pretty small. Surprised that it's that small, but precinct districts, the precinct district list. This is the canvas. 93, that's pretty small. It's 93 megabytes compared to what they usually are. But for now, what we can do is just, this is the canvas. This is not actually the 1% manual tally report, which is what we really wanted to get. So I'm going to go back up to this. It's asking me to pick a file. We'll accept the zip file. And open. Sometimes because the GoToMeeting controls are hovering on top and you can't see them, you're wondering why my cursor's over there, and that's what it is. You can add a comment to this and say this is the Canvas official. That's the final official results. We really weren't on top of the snapshot protocol at that time. We're trying to get a handle on what they were doing. And just upload the file. Now this is automatically going to, because I checkbox this, automatically going to create a link to the file. If it's an image that you're putting in, it actually pastes the image into the file. So now it's going to be down here, kind of in the wrong spot, because this is these are the navigational controls. So I'll show you the wiki text. You see, there isn't much on the page here in reality except for things that are automatically generated. So we want to take this, cut, and paste it up here. Okay. Unfortunately, that's something I'm trying to get them to fix on this, where I can have the attach point where it automatically goes in. So now it's attached here. So many files, we just put it up here and documents attached. Now if we can find the first step then is just to get all the documents attached into their correct any audit information we have of that election. So if we want to attach another document, we go back. It'll be in the same place now. So we did a letter for the snapshot request at that time. Say open, and now it's going to include it. Now I'm going to show you a different thing here. This is a PDF file. It's a letter to the registrar requesting snapshot information and create a link to the file. Basically, if there's any spaces, it gets rid of them because it's problematic in the Linux operating system, which this runs on. And now when you go back, here it is again. And we can put it up there. I like to use the raw text mode, which is down here at the bottom, so save. It basically looks like it's a raw text file. Everything under navigate is automatically attached in the footer. Everything up here is automatically attached in the header. The only thing that you're putting in is the stuff in the middle. And adding to this list of information if we do know what happened there. Now, I thought we actually did get stuff from the 2012. See, we did a 2010 general election. We got the audit logs and database for the gubernatorial election. This was a weird one. This was in February. So let's see, we have snapshot down here. We got the snapshot data and for those other years. We asked for it. I don't think we got it in 2012. The letter itself is a PDF file. You can actually include that very easily in the body, but I won't do it in this case. We'll cover that in the media. Let's see what it looks like here. I use the Foxit PDF reader, which is very, very good. It's coming up. Okay, so here was the letter. At that time, it was Deborah Seiler was the registrar, not Michael Gu. And we were trying to get the CD of all the precincts, and that may have been it, that Canvas file that you saw there, but we were learning at this point what to ask for. So we really didn't do a very good job of it. What we wanted to do was we did ask for all of the different years from, but I don't think he has responded with any of the prior years. Michael Gu hasn't responded, so we're still working on that. That's all we have there is pretty much that PDF file. We don't want to actually upload, I'm sorry, wrong one. We don't want to upload the ODT file, the source for this, just the PDF file. So if we look at what else is there, we had the zip file of the Canvas, and this may be actually the snapshot file. I'm not sure if that was or not. It wasn't indicated. And so we have that and the PDF file. This precinct breakdown is a text file. I remember now doing some work on this in no prop BB. So that's kind of the concept of how you add them in. What we have else, let's see if we can do, so now we added that in. Let's go back and see a couple of things here. So now we have this audit with this marked CA San Diego. So if I click on that, then you see that audit gets listed here in order. So we have those audits. And also if we go to all the audits, then it lists in all the audits. All the election districts. So each one can go into these. You don't have to go into this to add an audit, but when you go into one of these, its audits will be listed. You can add an audit just from anywhere here. And so if we have the election district San Diego, the summary of articles submitted normally would appear here. That is going to be, I'm going to have to fix that so it'll actually pull them in from the common web, which is where most of the articles are. That, I believe, does it. The only thing I think I should comment on further is in the actual audit form, the fields here, we wanted to have the dates when there was a random selection done, and maybe we would comment on whether those were video recorded. If there was a video of it, we would put it there. What kind of data was collected? This list can be can be appended, or we can add more fields here, values, but those would be check boxes. How many total ballots were processed? That would be an interesting number. How many were audited? In the random sample, how many actually ballots were audited? Maybe some work to figure that out, because we'd have to take the precincts and then add up each one of the number of ballots in those precincts to see if it actually was 10% of the total ballots. How many ballots were in the random sample? So this is a total ballots audited, like in this case, San Diego had 770 some thousand ballots. It excluded 295,000, nearly 300,000. So it'd be down to around 400,000 ballots that were audited. The sample count, how many were included in the sample, would be the ballots, the precincts that were actually audited, and how many ballots were in those. Here's the total number of precincts in the district, 1,522 in this election, in the last election, and how many precincts were reviewed. And these batches is the total number of batches of vote by mail batches, and how many were reviewed, and notes. And was it snapshot protocol compliant, just yes or no? So those are fields that we can modify. That pretty much covers this audit database, and I'll be putting this recording on the web so you can take a look at it, and I'll probably have a little better description. But we're working on, as we do this, we're going to find out, it's kind of a dynamic process of finding out what are the fields that are needed, and if the information is of value or not. Each one of the let me show you something before we go. One of the more recent audits that we did in San Diego, 2014, where even there I haven't actually, because I hadn't started this process of collecting information. We did get a raw snapshot file. It was converted to a spreadsheet, and it includes the 1% extraction, and then basically we have the reports from the Registrar of Voters website at the end of election night, and the consolidated precinct order. Here were the precincts that were chosen as they were chosen, and then they were sorted in this order. And they also chose a bunch of batch numbers. We really couldn't figure out this batch number thing then. We didn't understand it. We tried to get information. We looked at a couple of races, district attorney races. This one includes all the precincts in the county, so the 1% sample, as we said, should match the end result. closely. The question is, does 1%, this was just the polls data because at this time we weren't getting any vote by mail data. They were not giving us any at all in the snapshot data. So you can see the snapshot data and the polls data very, very close in number here. He's also within 1 percentage point. I guess a little more than 1, but not 40 or anything like that. You can see here just a little bit more than 1 percentage point different. Almost no write-ins. So that's a little table that we set up to analyze things, and the creation of tables and other types of things I will cover in a separate tutorial. Here's another one where we took a look at the votes here, looking at of interest the different candidates. They weren't in the 1% data at all, so we couldn't do that. Okay, you can go on and add things as you'd like in here. That covers this tutorial, and hopefully that'll help everyone help out, and we'll probably improve it as we go on. Thank you.